Hey, good morning. My name is Rachel, and this is Strength, Dignity, and Laughter. Sorry, I was taking this like it was a job interview, something like that, but it's not. I just wanted to come on here and then just quickly talk about the two things that God was showing me in the Bible, in the book of Isaiah, which is a prophetical book, and I have to kind of go back to, my pastor did give us like this lesson, it's like that yellow book that says like the history of the Bible, or explains like things in the Bible. It has like maps. It explains the Old Testament. It explains that the Jewish people had 400 years of silence until Jesus, and things like that. So I have to go through that book, which is supposed to be a gift. So I may or may not, but basically, back to what I was learning in Isaiah is just that today I was reading Isaiah 17, and the two things that I want to mention, it's just like, just so people like, just so I know there's a lot of stuff going on in the news right now. I haven't been staying on top of all the updates because it was happening when I was like not here at my home, but basically I know like we're in a situation with Iran, and then like I was reading stuff in the Bible that talked about Sharon, which is the same thing as Iran, but it's like a little olden times, and I think that was in I can't remember where that was. I think that, it was actually in Acts, like Acts chapter 7 or so. So I wanted to understand, like, I didn't know. I was like, what is Sharon? Where is that? And then I was like, oh, it's probably Iran, but like in the olden times. And so it talks about that in Acts, and I wanted to understand what the Bible was saying. But here in Acts 17, it definitely says that this is the fortress in verse 3. I'm not going to read the whole thing. Maybe somebody else can like read this and study it out and try to understand. But it says an oracle concerning Damascus, and it just says basically, behold, Damascus will cease to be a city and will become a heap of ruins. And then later, that's verse 1. Later in verse 3, it says the fortress will disappear from Ephraim. And here I'm pretty sure it's talking about Ephraim as like the location. But if you read the book of Psalms, you know what, maybe that's also talking about the location too. But spiritually, I thought it was talking about, well, okay, so in Jeremiah 31, it talks about Ephraim being like a person born to Rachel. Yes, I don't want to like, that my name is Rachel, and I thought Ephraim would be my son. So it's like, and then it also talks about somewhere in Psalms that Ephraim is the helmet of salvation unto the Jews. That could be talking about the locale, or that could be talking about the son born to Rachel. And then but here I'm pretty sure it's talking about the locale, because it's like actually a place in Israel as well. It says the fortress will disappear from Ephraim, and in the kingdom from Damascus, and the remnant of Syria will be like the glory of the children of Israel, declares the Lord of hosts. That's like verses 3. That's verse 3. And so basically I was like, oh, that's cool. So Syria is going to be saved. And then also in Jeremiah 31, it says that Ethiopia is going to be saved. Ethiopia, I already knew like Christians from Ethiopia that will come as Orthodox Christians, but then maybe there's going to be even more salvation there. And that could also be a target, because I have that book from Secret Church about what is it called? Unreached people groups or something like that. I forgot actually what the terminology is for places that they target for missionaries and things like that. So sorry if I repeat the same things. Let's see here. And then it talks about the reap, and then there shall be, and then it says, and it shall be as when the reaper gathers standing grain. And then I was thinking about who's the reaper, and then it kind of goes into like all this spiritual thing about like kind of gardening, but it also talks about cities and things like that. Let's see here. Oh, so I said, who's the reaper? And then my interpretation, because I read it earlier, is in Isaiah 51. It talks about that there will be male winnowers. So maybe that's like the male reapers. It's like the people that are going to go through and find it, Isaiah 51, who are going to disciple in other nations and things. I'm gonna stop saying who will disciple in other nations to like harvest people for Christ. Let me see real quick right now. Let's quickly go through that. I want to understand what that was all about. Glad I read that, like that was given to me like maybe 3 or 4 months ago. And then this word for the oracle concerning Damascus was given to me today on the 12th. Let me just real quick go through. Actually, I can't even remember. Might not have been Isaiah. Oh, it was definitely Jeremiah. Sorry, it was Jeremiah 51. So it talks about, I will send to Babylon winnowers. First of all, maybe I could be wrong. I don't know where Babylon is. And then I don't know. Hold on, too. Where's that? Interesting. And then it may also kind of go with locations based off of like the older like how it will be written in an older map. You know what? I'm not even gonna talk about this because I could be completely wrong. I'm not exactly sure what that means. I don't want to talk about it. I definitely had some questions about Isaiah 51 because that was a lot that let me just quickly go through this real quick. It's actually a very long passage, and I'm still trying to interpret it. But basically, one thing I was like is, who are the Chaldeans? Who are the Chaldeans? Seriously. But then if you Google it, I did Google it, and I forgot what Google said. And then there's just kind of a lot of stuff there. But the main thing I highlighted is that the Lord has brought our vindication. Come, let us declare in Zion the work of the Lord of our God. Let's see here. And it's talking about Israel in terms of a she, but sometimes spiritually you can think of it as like a prayer over yourself. That's how I was taught, at least. But then mostly it is really concerning Israel. It's just something that you can do spiritually if there's something like not as big as important that applies to you. But for the majority part of it, it is speaking about Israel. So that's just the only things I wanted to come on and share. That could be incorrect, but I just want to at least just say that Ethiopia and Syria are definitely places that can be discipled if they are not being discipled currently, and they will be saved. That's all. Have a blessed day. Bye.